Summary of The Model Millionaire. The short story, The Model Millionaire, published in June 1887, is a story which talks about the inner beauty of human beings. It is usually a tendency amongst us to value outward beauty much more than the nobler soul. This is what Oscar Wilde seems to be hitting at in the story, The Model Millionaire, where he shows the protagonist to be having a greater soul, which is the true mark of his beauty, and not just that he is handsome and liked by men and women alike. The story is a good lesson of why appearance should not be the criteria to judge people. There is a saying, don't judge a book by its cover. The saying is apt. We should never try to judge anything by its appearance and should delve deeper before forming an opinion, whether it is about a book or person. The story is about a good-looking but poor man, Hughie Erskine. He had crisp brown hair and grey eyes, making him appear to be extremely handsome and attractive, though unlike most good-looking people he did not have enough resources and means to a great income. Oscar Wilde was being sarcastic here to compare good looks with money. In spite of not having any fortune, Hughie Erskine was very popular because of his looks. He was liked by men and women alike. Hughie Erskine tried his luck in different fields including stock exchange, but his luck did not favor him anywhere and he kept on changing his preferences for a stable income. He tried being a tea merchant and then did business in dry sherry, but none of these worked well for him and he seemed to be very disturbed about it. He was also in love. His beloved was Laura Merton, daughter of a retired colonel who served in India. The colonel felt that as Hughie Erskine does not have a steady source of income, therefore he cannot be a fit person to be the life partner of Laura. Yet at the same time it is being said that he agreed to the engagement between Laura and Hughie Erskine on the condition that Hughie Erskine had £10,000 of his own. This disturbed Hughie Erskine even more, as he found it frustrating that his love is equated in terms of monetary status. When all these is going on, Hughie Erskine visited his friend Alan Trevor, a painter by profession. He found that Alan Trevor is painting a life-size painting of a beggar in his studio. The beggar was in one corner of the studio trying to pose for the painter as he is giving his finishing touches to the painting. The beggar looked very old, had wrinkled appearance. The piteous expression of the beggar made Hughie Erskine feel very bad about him. As Alan Trevor left for some time from his studio, Hughie Erskine took pity on the beggar and gave him a sovereign that was in his pockets and left the room. When Laura came to know about it, Hughie Erskine was reprimanded badly for such extravagant behavior when his financial status is not good. At the same time, Hughie Erskine went to the Palette Club and found his painter friend there. They had a talk about the beggar who was being painted, and to Hughie Erskine's surprise he found out that the beggar model was no one Baron Hosberg, a millionaire. Hughie Erskine felt bad that without even knowing about the person, he just offered the model a sovereign. He feared the fact that a baron may take this as an insult and may be revengeful towards him for insulting him as a beggar. At this thought, Hughie Erskine felt very unhappy and his friend Alan laughed at him. Next morning, Hughie Erskine found out that a messenger has come from Baron Hosberg with a letter. When he opened the letter, he found out that it contained a check of £10,000 which the Baron has gifted him as a wedding present. Hughie Erskine and Laura's love could see the fruition in marriage, and on the marriage Alan Trevor was the best man and the Baron came and delivered a speech. Alan commented, "Millionaire models are rare enough, but model millionaires are rarer still." Critical appreciation of The Model Millionaire. The Model Millionaire is a story not of the millionaire who posed as a model dressed as a beggar, but of a man who has the greatest of looks but not any fortune. It is a general perception of Oscar Wilde that all good-looking handsome men are usually very rich. The question that Oscar Wilde wanted to put to the readers is whether beauty is just about the outer appearance or is it somewhere deep within us. Is the outward beauty of a person of any consequence? We all are always concerned about our looks, our appearance, and how we are judged by people based on our looks. We never think of our internal beauty as it is not apparently visible to others. What is important to learn here is that appearance can be very deceptive. Oscar Wilde in the story is of the view that it is the inner beauty which is of supreme significance for the betterment of the humankind. Only when one is glowing with beauty from inside that the outer beauty gains some significance, otherwise the appearance is nothing but a charm underneath the monstrous self of the human beings. Hughie Erskine did not only have a charming outer appearance, but also a pleasing personality and a soul which cried at the sight of others' pain. So when he looked at the old wrinkled beggar, he felt pity for him and without thinking twice gave him the sovereign which he himself needed more than the beggar. He wanted to help the beggar as he thought that the beggar was in much need of some help than he the comforts he himself needed. This thought made him plant a sovereign into the hands of the model beggar while his friend Alan Trevor went out for a brief while and run out, only to find out later that night that the beggar was no one but a baron who had posed as a model for the painting. We see Hughie Erskine to be very anxious of the fact that he had insulted a baron by mistaking him to be a beggar. If this is one side of the story that is disturbing Hughie's thoughts, then on the other side when the baron comes to know about the ill luck of Hughie, that his marriage with his beloved is set on the condition that he has £10,000 with him, he immediately sends £10,000 check to Hughie as a wedding gift. Baron Hosberg sent the check not because he was enamored by the beauty of Hughie, but because he figured out that Hughie has a golden soul who cries at the pain of others. Hosberg could understand that beauty does not lie in the appearance but in the way one behaves with other people and how one treats others and feels for them. Hughie Erskine through his benevolent act to the beggar has proved that he is a man who feels for others' pain and does acts which is meant for helping others. He can get above his own problems and can feel for the others. This quality is not possessed by most people in the world as human beings are usually very selfish and only think about their own good. Even when people have enough, they do not care to think about helping others who are not so well off or are suffering for some reason. But here are some people like Hughie who can feel for others and have the courage to help others when he himself is in financial problems. Thus makes the baron give him the gift of £10,000 check which enables him to get the love of his life. The story ends in a very sweet note when the problems of Hughie have vanished because of the benevolent act. Baron Hosberg has come to Hughie's life as a divinity and solved all his problems. The story may seem to many to be a certain kind of wish fulfillment which does not happen in reality, as in reality people carry on suffering and there is no one to help. But this view is not completely correct, as in this world too there are people like Baron Hosberg who go out of the way to deal with the problems of other people, but those people need to have the beautiful heart as that of Hughie Erskine. Oscar Wilde believed in art for art's sake, which means that art can be written and enjoyed without the objective of getting any education or instruction from it. At a time when Henrik Ibsen and George Bernard Shaw were championing the notion of art for society's sake, Oscar Wilde felt that art should serve its own end of beauty and that makes the work of art beautiful and sublime. He followed the aesthetic theory of the Victorians such as Walter Pater and also wrote that understand that there are two worlds, the one that is without one's speaking about it, it's called the real world because there's no need to talk about it in order to see it. And the other is the world of art, that's the one which has to be talked about, because it would not exist otherwise. From this point of view, when we read Oscar Wilde's works, it seems to be so that they should not have any social or instructional or educational functions. But when we read the short story, The Model Millionaire, it becomes apparent that there is a deep social message that the writer has for us, the message of being beautiful within. One who is beautiful within gets his or her due at some point of time or the other in life. This is a belief with which the story, The Model Millionaire, is written. The poignant prose in which the short story is being depicted makes the readers feel the necessary human quality of compassion as the core of the story. It is compassion for others which makes us true human beings.